Welcome to the debate. Right now, a front-facing smartphone camera can measure your pupil dilation to determine exactly which luxury car you secretly desire before you even, realize you want it yourself.
Yeah, it's honestly wild to think about.
Right? The maps of the 21st century, they don't chart coastlines anymore. They chart the subconscious of billions of human beings.
And that is the reality we live in. The map is no longer just this passive tool that you use to navigate the physical world. The map is now looking back at you, tracking your desires, your habits, your time.
Exactly, and that brings us to the central question we are exploring today. We're looking at the fact that artificial intelligence is currently mapping, predicting, and nudging human behavior on a literal planetary scale.
Right, and it's happening every single second.
Every second. So, does this deep, predictive understanding of our preferences represent a triumph of personalized utility and human optimization? Or does it construct this invisible architecture that fundamentally erodes human autonomy? Because based on the source material we're digging into today, we are looking at an ecosystem where algorithms ingest petabytes of data daily. They use everything from our explicit online searches to our implicit biometric cues to build these highly accurate digital twins of billions of people across the globe.
Which sets up our dividing line for today perfectly. I'll be arguing that this technology acts as a genuinely empowering digital mirror. From my perspective as a technology enthusiast, AI maximizes human efficiency and personalization. It's an unparalleled engine that just removes friction from our daily lives. And my position is that these systems do not simply reflect our desires, they manufacture them. I'll be arguing that AI systematically exploits our cognitive vulnerabilities to manipulate outcomes, effectively stripping away our conscious, rational agency.
Okay, so to expand on my perspective a bit, when you look at how AI fuses explicit choices with implicit cues, you see a profound leap in human utility. AI actually enhances human agency by anticipating our needs and removing the friction between what we want and, how we achieve it. Think about the scale of this optimization. Take a real-world scenario where an AI predicts a user is developing diabetes.
Okay, sure.
It does this by combining the user's search history for symptoms like fatigue with location data showing frequent pharmacy visits. The system flags the condition before a human doctor even has the chance to.
Right, by analyzing the digital exhaust.
Exactly. Or consider how algorithms forecast demand surges for protein shakes in South Korea based on aggregated wearable data tracking local health trends. This isn't robbing us of autonomy. It is a brilliant optimization engine.
Whoa.
Let me just finish this thought. By ingesting our digital exhaust, AI aligns the world with our specific localized desires. It tailors global supply chains, medicine, and daily convenience to our actual realities.
I hear you, but I come at it from a completely different way. When we examine the actual mechanisms beneath these conveniences, the utilization of reinforcement learning, behavioral economics, subconscious profiling, we see a system that bypasses conscious choice entirely.
You really think it bypasses it entirely?
I do. Algorithms are mathematically designed to exploit cognitive biases like herd mentality or anchoring. It turns individual human beings into predictable nodes for profit. Look at what is happening right now with ride-hailing apps in Mexico City.
Right, the dynamic pricing?
Exactly. They are dynamically surging prices based on a user's past cancellation-linked price sensitivity. If the algorithm knows you are desperate and won't cancel, you literally pay more.
That's basic supply and demand, though.
But it's personalized supply and demand based on vulnerability. Or look at gaming apps in South Korea, adjusting their difficulty on the fly to trigger Skinner box-style dopamine loops. That isn't a mutually beneficial optimization. That is invincible coercion. It systematically overrides human autonomy by pulling levers in our subconscious that we frankly don't even realize are being manipulated.
Okay, let's move from the abstract idea of autonomy into the precise mechanisms of how AI actually learns what we want. Because if you're listening to this on your commute right now, think about how many micro decisions were just optimized for you.
Probably hundreds.
Easily hundreds. And I see why you think these systems are coercive, but think of it this way.
What if the AI is simply fulfilling a need you haven't explicitly typed out yet?
How so? Give me an example.
Well, consider a consumer on a market app in Istanbul. The system notices erratic mouse trajectories. The user is hovering, moving away, coming back. The system infers budget hesitation.
Right.
It then responds by showing cheaper options. It does this using time series models, specifically recurrent neural networks, or RNNs.
Okay, let me pause you there, because the mechanism is exactly what I want to highlight. Break down how that RNN functions in this context, because I think it's crucial to understanding the manipulation.
Fair enough. An RNN doesn't just look at what you clicked. It looks at the sequence of how you act. It has an internal memory. It remembers that 3 seconds ago, you hovered over the buy button, then moved to the price tag, then stopped. By mapping that sequence, it predicts the very next state, which is cart abandonment. So it offers a cheaper alternative. Why should we fear a system that understands our hesitations and preferences better than we can articulate them ourselves?
I'm sorry, but I just don't buy that it stops at being a helpful assistant. That analogy completely breaks down when we look at what the system is actually extracting. It is not just noticing that your mouse is hesitating.
What else is it doing?
It is extracting physiological vulnerabilities. We're talking about biometric data tapping directly into your biological responses. Heart rate variability measured from your smartwatch. Pupil dilation captured from that front-facing smartphone camera we talked about.
Right, the luxury cars.
Exactly. In Dubai showrooms, the AI tracks the microscopic, involuntary widening of your pupils when you look at a luxury car.
But that biometric data, the pupil dilation, the heart rate, these are just richer, more granular data points. I mean, they're still fundamentally reflecting your authentic preferences.
Are they?
Yes, the AI isn't inventing the fact that your pupils dilated at the car. It is merely perceiving it. It's capturing the reality of your desire.
But it is capturing that desire specifically to exploit your most finite and vulnerable resource, which is your time and attention. Because AI leverages these subconscious biological cues, we really have to examine the currency these systems trade in.
Which is engagement.
Exactly. They are not passively observing, they are actively competing to monopolize your focus. The predictive models map your sleep patterns, for instance, to predict exactly when your willpower is low so they can serve you a targeted ad for comfort food.
Hold on. Let's unpack that. Predict when my willpower is low? How does a network actually quantify something as abstract as willpower from sleep data?
Great question. It doesn't look for a chemical labeled willpower. It tracks fatigue patterns using long short-term memory networks, or LSTMs. An LSTM is a highly advanced type of recurrent neural network that specifically learns what to remember and what to forget over extended periods. It remembers that you only slept 4 hours last night.
Oh, wow.
Right? And it correlates that historical data with 1 million other users who, at 4 p.m. the day after poor sleep, demonstrate a 90% drop in impulse control when presented with a high-calorie food ad. It mathematically calculates your cognitive depletion.
And serves the ad right then.
Exactly. By moving past conscious choices into subconscious physiological reactions, the system circumvents rational decision-making entirely.
Okay, I'm glad you brought up the attention economy because I really question the overwhelmingly negative framing of how our attention is allocated. Let's look at the market mechanics here. Advertisers are bidding on metrics like impressions per engaged second.
Right.
This means they prioritize ad slots during high focus windows. For instance, targeting post-lunch lulls in Brazilian offices.
Exactly. They target the lull.
Right. But that ensures we only receive relevant information when we are actually receptive to it. Furthermore, if a sequence model forecasts that a user is going to abandon an online shopping cart in 30 seconds, and it offers a timely discount right at that moment, isn't that just a mutually beneficial market efficiency?
I wouldn't call it mutually beneficial.
But it saves the consumer money and it secures the sale for the vendor. That isn't a fragmentation of focus. It is a highly calibrated optimization of when and how we engage.
Look, that is a compelling argument, but have you considered the underlying math of that optimization? The utility functions driving this behavior are designed exclusively to maximize yield, not human well-being.
They're designed to provide a service.
But these algorithms literally use functions that discount future engagement based on human impatience. It is a ruthlessly extractive mathematical formula. Streaming services analyze drop-off curves to time their episode cliffhangers exactly at the 80% attention threshold for audiences.
Well, sure.
Gaming apps deploy variable reward schedules, giving you a prize at random intervals, specifically to prolong your session past your natural stopping point.
But those are entertainment platforms, functioning exactly as designed, to entertain us for as long as possible.
But the macro result of this optimization is devastating. Studies repeatedly show that global average attention spans are shrinking dramatically, from 12 seconds in the year 2000 to just 8 seconds today. The system trains us to have fractured attention. It is the extraction of our cognitive resources, plain and simple.
I'm just not convinced by that line of reasoning, because it ignores the massive societal synergy that occurs when these systems successfully map our attention and our physical routines. Yes, they hold our focus, and they use that engagement to understand our daily habits, but mapping our routines creates incredible frictionless harmony across the globe.
Frictionless for who?
For all of us. I mean, consider how these systems compute our physical movements using hidden Markov models.
Let's quickly explain that for the listener.
Right, so a hidden Markov model is basically a way of predicting a future event based solely on your current state, without needing to analyze your entire history every single time.
Okay.
So it knows that if you bought a coffee at 8 a.m., the statistical probability of you needing a subway ticket at 8:15 a.m. is 90%. It maps the unseen states of our routines. And when you scale that up, the logistical improvements are staggering.
Like what?
Well, we have traffic signals in Los Angeles prioritizing buses that are carrying profiled high-value commuters. We have delivery services in French villages timing fresh bread drops right at the 6 p.m. baking hour based on inferred neighborhood routines.
And how is that a bad thing, you're asking?
Exactly, it isn't. It's less like a system trapping us and more like a grandmaster in chess. It is computing 5 moves ahead. By the time you reach into your pocket for your phone to check a bus time, the AI has already loaded the schedule, pre-warmed the server, and prioritized the route based on your location. It allows billions of independent human variables to move in harmony without the bottlenecks, the traffic jams, or the wasted resources that have plagued human societies for centuries.
The problem with a grandmaster is that they are playing to win, and you are just a pawn on the board.
Oh, come on.
Seriously. This algorithmic preloading traps human beings in a deterministic loop. By computing habit stability, the AI doesn't just guess your choices, it preloads them and subtly penalizes deviations.
Penalizes them how?
By making the alternative harder to access, it systematically erodes human spontaneity. And this determinism has severe real-world consequences that go far beyond getting fresh bread on time. Let's look at credit scoring AI deployed in Nairobi right now.
Okay.
These systems deny financial loans to individuals based on unconventional digital signals, like their mobile top-up frequency or utility payment habits.
But those are data points correlating to financial stability.
But they are actively overriding stellar offline credit histories. Because these individuals don't fit the algorithm's predetermined model of a quote-unquote reliable digital profile, they are financially exiled. This is algorithmic redlining disguised as efficiency. The system enforces conformity to its predictions. If you break your routine, you are flagged as high risk.
But that assumes the system is static and unforgiving, which the math shows it is not. These models use probabilistic modeling, Bayesian networks, Gaussian processes, which actually account for uncertainty and variance.
Explain how a Bayesian network fixes the Nairobi credit issue, though.
Well, a Bayesian network updates its probability estimates as new evidence comes in. It doesn't just put you in a box forever.
Right.
It recognizes weekend flexibility in beachy Brazil versus the rigid weekdays of corporate Seoul. It learns. It dynamically adjusts to the complex shape of your life, mapping when you adhere to routine and when you deviate, and it updates its confidence in its predictions accordingly. They aren't forcing you into an unyielding box.
Dynamically adjusting or dynamically boxing you in. I mean, if an AI infers from your keystroke rhythms, your micro-expressions on video calls, and your physical location data that you aren't perfectly aligned with the efficiency metrics of a Shenzhen factory or a Silicon Valley office, It subtly alters your professional trajectory. It dictates the norm and then enforces it through a million tiny, invisible nudges.
Which brings us to the crucial question of the architecture itself and the safeguards built into it. Because even if we accept your premise that there is a risk of coercion, the modern architecture of these systems absolutely allows for human agency. We are not defenseless subjects here.
I would argue the defense mechanisms are vastly outgunned.
Let me give you a different perspective. Technically, we have entirely new paradigms like federated learning.
Okay.
Instead of sending your raw, intimate data, like your daily Tokyo commute, to a massive central server, the model actually comes down to your phone. It learns locally from your behavior and then only sends back the mathematical adjustments to the main algorithm. Your actual data never leaves your device.
Right.
Plus, we also have the ability to use VPNs, privacy-focused browsers, and incognito modes to intentionally fragment our digital signals. And legally, massive regulatory frameworks like Europe's GDPR or Brazil's LGPD mandate transparency and force explainability from these algorithms. With these structural, technical, and legal mitigations, aren't humans still firmly in the driver's seat?
Those mitigations are unfortunately largely illusions of consent. Let's start with the legal side. Privacy policies are famously buried in legalese that no one reads. You click accept because you need to use the app to function in modern society. Furthermore, dark web data breaches, which routinely expose millions of profiles across Europe and Asia, prove the inherent fragility of this massive data collection apparatus.
But what about the technical safeguards? Federated learning keeps the data locally.
Federated learning is brilliant in theory, but it does not solve the foundational cold start problem.
Meaning what for the listeners?
Meaning that when a system is new or encountering a new user, it has no local data to draw from. So it has to bootstrap its knowledge. It relies heavily on broader demographics, which leads to massive stereotyping right out of the gate.
We have concrete examples of Western heavy training data consistently misreading African textile preferences, or AI that judges job applicants chronically undervaluing resumes from South Asian names, simply because they represent a smaller sample in the training data.
But again, Bayesian updating means the system corrects that over time as it interacts with the user.
Only if the user survives the initial filtering process. And regarding those individual tools you mentioned, ad blockers or VPNs, they are fundamentally outmatched. We're talking about server farms deploying dimensionality reduction on 100 terabytes of data daily.
Let's define dimensionality reduction for the audience, because it sounds intimidating, but it's really just a sorting mechanism.
It's way more than a sorting mechanism. Think of dimensionality reduction like taking a massive, high-resolution, three-dimensional sculpture of your entire life's data. Every click, every heartbeat, every location.
Right.
And squashing it down into a flat, two-dimensional shadow. It loses some nuance, sure, but it makes it incredibly fast and computationally easy for the algorithm to categorize you into a profitable demographic. You cannot regulate away that fundamental power imbalance. One side holds a predictive mirror built on billions of data points and supercomputers, and the other side is just a single human trying to toggle a privacy setting on their phone.
I see why you emphasize the asymmetry in computational power. It is certainly a massive disparity in scale. But the fact that developers are actively pushing ethical designs, deploying debiasing techniques in these early stages, and building decentralized data vaults shows that the system is responsive to human pushback. The digital mirror might be imperfect right now, but it is constantly being refined and corrected by our conscious interventions.
Refined, perhaps, but the core objective of the system, predicting and monetizing behavior, remains entirely unchanged.
As we wrap up our discussion today, I want to summarize my position. I view AI as humanity's intimately detailed digital mirror. It functions as an unparalleled engine for global efficiency. From personalized medicine anticipating a diagnosis, to predicting global supply chain demand, to smoothing out the daily friction of our commutes, it is a staggering human achievement. Provided we engage with it mindfully and utilize the technical and regulatory tools at our disposal to correct its biases, it represents a triumph of optimization that fundamentally serves and empowers human desires.
And my summary remains that this mirror is fundamentally distorted. It is driven inherently by motives of profit and engagement. utilizing everything from behavioral economics to our subconscious biometrics to subtly steer our choices. Whether it is dynamically surging prices based on our financial vulnerabilities or timing content cliffhangers to drain our cognitive resources, it degrades human autonomy. It operates below the threshold of our conscious consent. We are not optimizing the system, we are being optimized for the system's benefit.
We certainly both acknowledge that AI systems possess an unprecedented, planetary power to map the human experience across diverse global populations. Where we continue to disagree is exactly where the line falls between a helpful algorithmic nudge and outright behavioral manipulation.
Precisely. The scale and the accuracy of the mapping are undeniable at this point, but the intent behind that map and its ultimate effect on our individual agency remain deeply contested.
There is so much more to explore in this subject, particularly the technical implications of how edge computing and generative AI will further complicate this dynamic in the coming years. Which brings us back to the image we started with. If artificial intelligence is constantly mapping the contours of human desire and habit, we have to ask ourselves, as this map grows ever more precise, looking back at us through our screens and wearables, are we the cartographers charting the course? Or are we simply the terrain being conquered?
That is the essential question we all must navigate.
Thank you for joining us on The Debate.